But isn't that American dream? That American dream is because there's more people that live that type of fucking American reality. But isn't that American dream? That American dream is because there's more people that live that type of fucking American reality.
Rich foils of plunder and escape reality's view. Prices rise a time or two in the land where Jack was roam. One didn't have such a dark fate. The heart of the city is where not just leaves but shadows fall. It's also where struggles and battles hold us all. This is about rising up against all odds and mountains around against all despair. This city is a tale of hope's flame ignited in the air.
That's right.
New Jack City is what they call this domain.
Reflection ain't nothing but the inner child trying to see you. You gonna look? You gonna pick up that book? Self-reflection. Give me another lesson. Growth and strife. Line stripes in life mine. Get the high. Cause it may only be for this. What they say? Time. Don't forget you have sight. Insight. Get high off the truth, seek the root. Feel the flame within you, seek the fruit. Give the boot to the ones licking the boot.
How can I stand out even in a crowded space? A vibrant display of distinctiveness, a unique tale of trace. Reflecting on my identity, my soul starts to understand the allure of this divergence, a unique orchestration.
Apartheid is exactly what's going on here. Someone else was there to report the stories, and they want to make sure that information gets out and that these horrific.
Grand risings, grand risings, grand risings, grand risings, grand risings, and welcome to the Urban Conservative with Chaz Neal. This morning, I want to get into a multitude of different subjects, different things that are going on in America that especially affect our community. The first thing that I want to get into is I want people to realize, I'm all for music, and I've gotten into this with, Reverend Tim Christopher, about, rap music. And I want to just talk about a little bit about Drake and Kendrick Lamar, the rap beef, because I don't think people fully understand what this does. I grew up in an era when it came with rap beef. I seen Ice Cube and NWA. I've seen Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, Eminem, Benzino, 50 Cent, Ja Rule. There's been, over the years, there's been numerous, rap beefs. But this one, for me, I feel like takes the icing on the cake. And I'm going to explain why. You have, and people disagree too, everybody's got their own opinion, their own perspective. But in today's times in society, Drake is one of probably the top 5 biggest artists in the world right now. And hip hop rap is a sport. And for me, I don't feel like when people are beefing, there isn't a winner and there isn't a loser, right? Because I'll tell you right now that the record labels win, the consumers win because we get a good product, right? The artists win because people are paying attention. The only lose of it is that it doesn't just be on wax, because it affects to the streets, because rap and streets and community intersect, right? They're one and the same. It's just like with, I feel like, you know, when it comes to, you know, our talents, you know, me growing up, you know, what I seen coming out of my house, and I didn't have any black male teachers. You know, the people that I seen in my community that did things were drug dealers, were pimps. You know, the athletes came back every once in a while, you know, the music artists, the entertainers, they would come back, but it was a certain lifestyle. It wasn't about, you know, actually planting money trees back in the community. They would come in, flaunt their little money, you know, and do what they do. The same way that it is now with the nonprofits, the way that it is with politics, and the way that it is with just our community, period, is like we are more materialistic type ass people than what we care about what is going on in our backyards. We care more about drama than we do about education. We care more, you know, because they say hip hop is dead. Why hasn't Sexy Red or Cardi or and no disrespect to Cardi, because you know what? Let me take that back, because Cardi got some bangers, right? But let me go with Sukana. I'm selling coochie. Like, is that what we want our kids to, uh, our daughters, to be out here bumping, or is they out here selling coochie? Like, come on now. How isn't hip hop been dead? We've had mumble rap for years. Mumble rap, right? You know, what happened to, I remember growing up, and you could literally put the CD in and not have to skip a song. We don't even buy CDs no more, because we buy music now for songs. We don't buy them for the albums. Let's be real. The whole art of music is really gone from my eyes. And I'll be honest, we don't even respect real music anymore. We respect people that are out here talking about calling women bitches and hoes, and drinking lean and popping perks, that are out here killing people. So I wanted to play this video from my son, the fucking general. I can't stand this bum ass nigga. But he talks about Kendrick and Drake, and I want to play this for a little bit, because I definitely don't agree with this weird ass nigga. I think he's somebody that is a culture vulture, somebody that isn't for the people, who isn't for the community. You know, he says boycott black murder, but I don't see him out in the streets talking to people. He's more about politics and Black Lives Matter than it is actually about making change in our community. So let me be quiet and let's play this.
Have real conversation here. I appreciate that. So listen, I've been getting tagged all day about what happened to Drake's bodyguard, and the shots that happened in Drake's Toronto home. Um, and I'm listening, and I knew as soon as this happened that they were gonna say, see, this is what I'm talking about. You know, when this is what happens with the beef, it goes too far. This is why you can't do this in hip hop. And for the record, I would like to say, first of all, you know, I don't know what happened, right? And somebody was shot. So I wish that man gets well. You know, I don't wish harm on anyone. But I just want to give you a context to the reality of what we did, right? Does anyone blame football teams when they go to the Super Bowl and at the end of the Super Bowl somebody gets shot because their team lost? Does anyone blame the baseball teams where the Yankees is playing Boston, and if you lose in Boston, somebody might get shot and killed because the fan is irate and he angry because they lost, and it's always violence and all those things happening. Does anyone blame the players for that? Right? If the fans are too invested, do you blame the players who are competing at the highest level because they have a competitive nature? Hip hop has always been competition. It was jams in the parks. You battled ciphers. There are hip hop battles every day. URL battles every day where people sit face to face and they talk about each other's mothers, they talk about each other's kids, they say all type of shit. Nobody gets killed, nobody gets shot. We cannot blame hip hop competition, right? The competition of hip hop that people have every day, right? That on if something turns out negative all the time. Only thing that we can control is the two people and the people that their entourages. This is what we're trying to teach emotional intelligence. We want to show in hip hop that there can be competition. The reality is in life, everybody doesn't like each other. There's going to be difference. There's going to be conflict. And if two men can come and they can compete on a record and they're not beefing, you can't blame them because some fan is overly invested in some shit. And I don't know if that's the situation. I don't know what prompted someone to shoot at Drake's house, but immediately hip hop is going to be the reason for it. I just don't think that's real. I don't think that hip hop should be the blame for something that happens. Same way you don't blame football at the end of the Super Bowl. Every year somebody gets shot or killed, and when Boston, the Red Sox play against the Yankees, and you know that you can't go there. Like these are realities. They are fans, they are fanatics who take shit too far. These are realities that come with this sport. So why do you blame hip hop artists, two creative artists who love the competition that they involved in? Why do you blame them for what's happening in some other shit? It's not fair. It's just not fair. It's not fair. As hip hop artists, we are competitive. We are competitive. This is just the reality of what it comes with. I've been battling my whole life. Y'all want to try to put this? Come on, man. How many rappers ever done? No, hip hop battle rap. Let me explain to you something. Two artists that battled in hip hop because of battling in hip hop have never died from hip hop. When you look at the people who died in hip hop, they died because they had street beef and it turned into hip hop. It was real beef that they put on wax. It wasn't people competing because they said I'm better than you and you said I'm better than me and we want to prove that who's the best. That never turned to somebody dying. So y'all want to put that shit on hip hop? Cool, if that's what you want to do. But the reality is just not fair. It's not fair. First of all, we don't know what happened, but it's not fair. It's just not fair. I love the competition in hip hop. I love watching two titans go at. You don't blame because somebody likes fucking Floyd Mayweather and whoever he fighting against, if they get outside and something happened because one of their fighters lost, you don't blame it on the fighter, right? So why you blame it on hip hop? It's not like these two entourages met somewhere and they went to war and somebody got stabbed. Then I would say that. But that's not what this situation is. It's not fair, and it doesn't make sense to me. Come on, Drake been battling for years. Drake was battling a street nigga. He was battling against Meek Mill. Ain't nobody get shot and killed. Right? He battled against a nigga that was surrounded by a bunch of street niggas. Ain't nobody get shot. He battled Pusha T, who was another street. Ain't nobody get shot. This has been hip hop. So stop trying to blame this shit on hip hop. There's been battles. Drake has battled a bunch of times and said a bunch of shit about people. Ain't nobody get shot. So don't blame this situation on hip hop.
That's probably the one thing that I can agree with this dude is, like, we got to stop putting blame. You know, it's just like during the protests, right? Everything was blamed on Black Lives Matter, anything that happened. You know, and then it became to be Antifa. Instead of actually looking at the reasoning, or why these people were doing the things that they were doing because of the system, right? And I know that's a bad comparison between rap, hip hop, beefs, you know what I'm saying, and you know the movement. Um, but I just feel like people in today's times, we care more about, you know, drama and, you know, being hypocrites, right? Because we say one thing, but we always do something else, right? And this person right here, their name is CD3, said, the conversation is simple. In one breath, we champion unity amongst Black people, Black men especially, repeatedly. In the next breath, we vigorously cheer on two grown men to beef battle rap for our enjoyment and critique. They are put in positions to say the most vile and disrespectful things about each other, their families, etc. It's not like back in the day, battling at the park or in a cipher where there was a basic level of respect and you knew it. You knew it wasn't going to escalate into anything more than just trash talk. That doesn't exist today. I don't blame it on the artists, maybe to an extent because they did take the bait. I actually blame it on the IG platforms, podcasts, etc., that continually push the beef agenda, egg these dudes on. I don't know the story behind dude's bodyguard getting shot. It may not have anything to do with rap beef, but knowing how fragile motherfuckers is and their respective fan bases, followers are, I believe a dangerous game is being played. I you know, that's the one crazy thing, right? Is that I definitely agree with this person's statement. I don't know if it's I don't want to be disrespectful and misgender or anything like that, but I definitely agree with this individual statement for the simple fact of that we literally say we want unity, and I'm going to say this for myself, right? Is and this is probably really a badass comparison, um, because I do want unity in my community, right? But also I understand that there is people that don't want that unity. They don't want the peace. They don't want the harmony, the prosperous. They don't want that community to be um, together. There's people that are detrimental to that. So they want the drug dealing. They want, you know, the people to be homeless. They want for us not to be stakeholders in our own community. And they look like us. They're Black churches. So, right. Definitely. Oh, I definitely agree. No, you know what, Robert? And I know this is something that we've talked about, you know, plenty times over again. And I do see the connections when it comes to the record labels, when it comes to politics. You know, it's crazy because Biden is sitting here using um not one of us. And you know the crazy part of it is I haven't even listened to that song all the way through. I know it's one of the hottest songs in America. I haven't even listened to that all the way through. And you want to know why? Because of the simple fact of like we've taken names and we'll just call people names just to be calling them it, right? And it takes away from it. It's like with the word pedophile, right? We put that jacket on people, and that jacket doesn't fit them, but yet that jacket follows them, even if it's not true. And that's the one thing that is wrong that I hate about America, right? Because we'll push false narratives, and this is not me sticking up for Drake. This isn't me sticking up for Kendrick, because at the end of the day, um, I don't care. It's I love it for me, honestly, without listening, because I've listened to everything. Bless up, Mike. I've listened to everything but the Not One of Us or Not Like Us. And without listening to that, I haven't listened to the whole thing. But for me personally, when it came down to if we're gonna go by punchlines, if we're gonna go by, you know, lyric for lyric, and what's facts and what's narratives, and I personally, um, I gotta give it to Drake because there was a lot of things that he said in there, especially in Family Matters, of Like niggas always want to be trying to be like activists, but really it's the shit's all fake. And really there's so many fake ass niggas in our community. There's one on the screen right now. My son, the general. He wasn't known for being a battle rapper. You know what's crazy? I only know this nigga in the last 4 years. It's just like with Lavish Mac, failed rapper. Toussaint Morrison, a failed artist and actor. You know, that's the crazy part. And it's like that's what we look up to. And that's why I look at people differently, because our heroes, our mentors, these people are fake as hell. And for them to be called self-made, you're not self-made. First of all, that's the one crazy part. You know, but I want to get off this subject of this, and I want to get into some real shit, because I don't think a lot of people fully understand history. I actually, you know what, before I get to that, let's see. Okay, so this right here, because this just happened yesterday, and I want people to see that what we're dealing with. So there was a HR bill 7109, and House Democrats vote unanimously to give illegal aliens representation in Congress and the Electoral College. House Democrats on Wednesday night voted unanimously to give illegal aliens, including Joe Biden's 11 million illegal border crossers, representation in Congress and the Electoral College. Democrats continue to put Americans and American workers in line behind alien invaders. The House vote was 206 to 202, with 22 representatives, 11 Democrats, and 11 Republicans abstaining from the vote. Stephen Miller reported House Democrats just voted unanimously. I don't think that's really unanimously. I mean, some of them did abstain, to give illegals representation in Congress and Electoral College. House seats and Electoral College votes will be added to areas with the most illegals, unless Senate passes the bill, invasion by design. And Senate's not going to pass it. That's the one crazy part out of all of this. Is we're not even, these people are setting themselves up for future elections. They know they have this one in the bag. And we don't even really understand what that means. And I know that, you know, there's people like Mark Carter out of Chicago, you know, and you know, I might talk shit about the Turn Chicago Red movement, and I only talk shit about that because it's I understand. Me and Marcus try to do the same thing in Minneapolis, right? We try to do the same thing, and when you realize that the forces that be the establishment, the powers, right, they're never going to allow it. We literally, one thing that I realize now is that money talks, bullshit walks, right? And the Democrats in Minnesota have nothing but money to play with. And I'm talking about billions. So how can you change? It's just like with Chicago, when they're throwing all that money around, right? And you have millions of dollars. I'm talking about millions, hundreds of millions being thrown around, all under the guise of to end homelessness, to feed our kids. And then you see what the money's actually being used for. What's crazy is I'm going to go to this real quick. Let me see, where's it at? Where is it at? Was it the Anna winner? Was it the Anna winner? I think it was the Anna winner. Yeah, man, this shit just trips me out. Okay, yep, here it goes. All right, so I'm going to share this tab instead. So, all right, here we go. This is a Minnesota reformer, and this is the same lady that came, I'm not going to say busted, but was the first person to report on the fraudulent behavior going on in Minneapolis, right, with the nonprofits and with the state and how the groups or whatever. So Ami Bak's right-hand man says everyone at Feeding Our Future took kickbacks. Now, if people don't understand what's going on, Feeding Our Future right now is in trial. You have court going on. And I'm glad that there's certain reporters that are up there covering this, because I hope that there is other information that comes out, right? Because it is open court. And I know that there is reporters that will put it out there, like Miss Winter. And I have to give it up because there's some parts in there I want people to read, right? I want you to hear this. A former Feeding Our Future employee who described himself as executive director Amy Bak's right-hand man testified Wednesday about how he participated in a massive fraud, setting up sham nonprofits and consulting companies and taking kickbacks to help others get millions in federal funds. Some of the kickbacks came from 7 people and their companies on trial this week, the first out of 70 initially charged in the case. The money was supposed to be used to help needy children. Hadith Ahmed, testifying during the second week of the first Feeding Our Future trial, said he made about $2 million running a fake food site and taking kickbacks while working at Feeding Our Future. He used the proceeds to buy a house in Savage, Minnesota, and land in Kenya. Federal prosecutors say the nonprofit Feeding Our Future was at the center of a $250 million fraud. Now, I want people to know it's way more money than this. When they first came out with this investigation, between Feeding Our Futures and Partners in Nutrition, it was about $444 million that had been fraudulently used, right? And here's the crazy thing. And I'll go into it because I'll look it up some more. But there's a lady named Sharon Ross who pled guilty. Now, she had connections with God Squad, which is ran by Sheriff Deputy Spence of the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office. Why isn't he coming out? Why isn't Shiloh Temple or A Mother's Love Initiative or Jerry McAfee, all who have links to Feeding Our Future and Sharon Ross? And you know what's crazy is what people didn't even believe me, because me and Marcus were literally telling a story of how we were on 36th and Penn in 2021, and a person came up who his name is Empress, who I didn't notice at the time, but was Amy Bak's boyfriend, and explained that, hey, he's like, hey, I got this truck full of food. Why don't y'all get rid of it for me? So he left it there. And I was like, well, how much you get paid for doing this? And he literally, Buddy told us he got $100,000 each truck that he dropped off. So I was like, damn. So when the whole Feeding Our Future shit came out, it really tripped me out. Ahmed gave the most damning testimony heard yet against Bak, who isn't one of the 7 defendants in the current trial. Intentionally or not, however, he laid the groundwork for Bak's prosecution and dozens of other defendants awaiting trial. 2 former teachers, Ami and Kara, were friends and business partners running a nonprofit called Partners in Quality Care, aka Partners in Nutrition, that helped child care centers get federal meal money. After they had fallen out in 2018, Bak took over Feeding Our Future and started competing with her former colleague. Both of their nonprofits grew exceptionally during the pandemic, fueled by the federal child nutrition program. Bak has been charged and pleaded innocent. The other lady hasn't been charged. He grew up, Buddy that was testifying grew up in Ethiopia. He was born in Ethiopia, grew up in Kenya before moving to the U.S. as a teenager. He opted to cooperate with federal prosecutors in exchange for what he hopes will be a lighter sentence. He said he decided to tell the truth, but has been made no promises about how much he could get shaved off an expected 4 to 5 year sentence. Man. Damn. That's crazy as hell. But just to hear all of this shit that they were doing, and the fact that, you know, I don't understand why people, even Mayor Frey, Jamal Osman, their families have been, Grand Rising, have been linked to these. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why isn't there being investigations, ethics investigations into Mayor Jacob Frey or who, Mayor Jacob? Oh shit! Whoops! I think I just did something fucked up. But yeah, so it's like, why aren't they, other people, being included into it? That should be all because of the guise of politics, or, you know, in the name of politics. What happened to right and wrong? What happened to good versus evil? So whatever happened to accountability? So let's get into what I really wanted to get into this morning, since I gassed y'all up for these little first 30 minutes. I hope y'all enjoyed me talking about the bullshit. But this is a video. I wanted to, since May 15th is coming up, and we are at a time, you know, with Gaza, Palestine, and, you know, Israel. I wanted to educate myself, because I didn't even understand what Nakba is, or was, or, you know, whatever, what it meant. And it means in Arabic is catastrophe. So then I looked at the year, and I was like, holy wow, that's 1940. Oh, so I was like, I wasn't around then. They lied to us about Christopher Columbus. You know, they've lied to us about slavery. They've lied to us about the Civil Rights Act. You know, they've lied to us about so much. So I wanted to do my own research. I wanted to understand, you know, why is there conflict? Why is America involved? You know, why are we supplying Israel during a genocide, you know, to get rid of a nation of people? And I don't think, you know, and then you hear about Jewish, but then people also want to talk about Zionism, and it's like, wait, what the fuck is that? You know, so I think for us, we need to get educated and understand what's going on, is because I don't feel like these college students would be out here doing the things that they're doing. So, you know what I'm saying? If it wasn't, you can say that they're indoctrinated or that they're programmed. I come to find out that these kids are educated, and that they are very smart kids. And a lot of them can really articulate why they're out there, and why they are continually to stand out there, and why they don't care about being suspended, or, you know, not being able to graduate, because literally you have people that are dying. You have villages that are being exterminated, all under the guise of something that we don't understand, or we take a narrative and run with it. So let me play this. It's about 5 minutes long, and I'm going to be quiet, but I hope people learn from this.
With the Israelis after this. This is a big moment. 4 p.m., Rothschild Boulevard, David Ben-Gurion officially declaring Israel an independent state. The Jews finally have a home. His talk is pretty nationalistic and very thoughtful. He stresses on points like the state of Israel would strive to develop the land for the good of all its residents, be based upon foundations of liberty, justice, and peace, and that Israel would ensure social and political rights to all citizens without discrimination of religion, race, or sex. But did any of that happen? See, Palestine after World War I was under British control and was seeing a series of violent outbreaks between the Arabs and Jews. And to resolve that, the UN proposed a partition plan, which would divide the land into two states, Jewish Israel and Arab Palestine, while keeping Jerusalem a UN-controlled international zone. The votes came in. 33 countries approved, 13 countries voted against it, while 10 completely abstained from voting. And although the Arab states walked out as a form of protest, the partition plan was adopted. On the ground, tensions were high, and they continued to escalate with the massacre at Deir Yassin. This started the mass exodus of Palestinians, while Jewish immigration, which was encouraged by the Zionists, was on the rise. The Arabs were becoming increasingly frustrated. As the atrocities kept growing and the promise of an independent Arab state nowhere in sight, Israel officially declaring its independence triggered a tipping point. Arab forces from Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq marched to Palestine. This was the first time the Arab League was formed. And for what? To protect Arab Palestine. To put it into context, the Arab states had just recently declared their own independence from colonial powers. So Arab nationalism was on the rise. And although Arab leaders agreed on the importance of forming a unified Palestinian state, their interests came first. Fawaz Gerges, a professor of international relations, mentioned this about the Egyptian and Jordanian kings, that they appeared to be more concerned about their respective strategic positions than that of Israel. And according to historian Avishlam, the conflict between the Jews and Arabs allowed for the emergence of special relations between the Zionists and Abdullah, who wanted to secure his plans to expand the borders of his country. Nevertheless, the armies of the Arab League launched an attack, and in just a few weeks, Israeli forces were surrounded, facing a possible defeat. That's when the UN intervened with a 4-week ceasefire, which worked in favor of Israel. Ignoring the UN arms embargo, Israel imported heavy armaments from Czechoslovakia and used the time to reorganize. This brings us to a turning point in the history of the war. As soon as the ceasefire was over, Israel launched a counter-offensive, occupying 2 strategic Arab towns which were allocated to Arab Palestine by the UN. 70,000 Palestinians who lived there were forced to flee. The Israelis closed in and continued occupying the areas allocated to the Palestinians. And the Arab armies were not as effective as they were in the first round of fighting. There was little coordination and virtually no cooperation, says Avishlam. The Arab states who were led by Egypt responded by announcing the establishment of a Gaza-based Palestinian government. But this was more of a strategic move by King Farouk to prevent King Abdullah's ambitions to expand his borders. Israel watched the Arab feud, all the while consolidating its own position. It began singling out Egyptian forces with an aerial campaign. Egypt appealed to its Arab allies for help, but its appeals fell on deaf ears. And Avishlam says that the Arab states were either afraid to intervene or did not wish to intervene. By the end of the year, the Egyptians were defeated in Gaza and could no longer support the dream of a unified Palestinian homeland. Desperate, Egypt turned to Britain for help to preserve its territorial integrity. An armistice was signed with Israel, and the other Arab states followed suit and signed separate bilateral agreements with Israel, who now was controlling 78% of the entire territory. This brings us to the end of the war. What did the First Arab-Israeli War bring? An Egyptian military presence in the Gaza Strip, and Jordan was gifted the West Bank as a token for its loyalty to Britain and the Zionists. Meanwhile, 700,000 Palestinians were driven out of their homeland. And the UN's two-state solution? Well, it never saw the light of day. It's been 70 years. The crisis of this catastrophe continues.
Oh, excuse me. Damn. Oh, bless me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Damn. My allergies. But for me, I didn't know, when they do talk about, Israel, um, and Palestine, there's a lot of things that they don't tell us about. And I think it's our duty, check that shit out. You know what I'm saying? I I don't know. I just seen that there was the University of Hamlin was just given a trespassing notice, something like that's going on over there in St. Paul. All I know is I see 2020 happening all over again. It is around that time, and if people don't, all you got to do is go back in history, man. History repeats itself, and we're not educating to change history, to change the future. Because we're not. How are you supposed to change something if you don't know where you're going? Right? Everybody has an idea of what they see as accountability, right? But then when you sit here and you have conversations with people, they don't even know what the Constitution is, or they don't even know about state statutes. They don't know about city charters, and they don't even understand how our political system works, how our government works, of how we have the executive, our executive, legislative, and judicial branches. And it's like, how are we supposed to have conversations with people if they don't even understand that, all of those are hand in hand. You can't fight education without fighting gun violence. You can't fight police brutality and not care about our healthcare system or about homelessness, because it all intersects, right? It's like a glove. That shit, you put it on and it intersects everything. The court system, school, policing, housing. Did I say medical? I think so. But it affects all aspects of our life. And yet we're only focused on one part of it because, that doesn't affect me. That doesn't affect me. But it does. It's just like, I want to see if I can find this real quick, because I seen something this morning where they were talking about, and maybe I did bookmark it. Let me see if I bookmarked it. Because it was interesting. They were talking about, nope, I didn't. Damn it. Where did I see? Did I see that on KTTC? Let me see if I can find that on, because it was actually where did I see that? It was about our job market here in Minnesota, and there was because we've had 81,000 immigrants and 53,000 work. I'm sorry, I should have had this better set up, because this shit was crazy. Oh, wait, in Minnesota. Yeah, this shit blew me out, man. And then it's like, but everybody talking about the job market's so good. That's what's the crazy part for me. It's like, how, if the job market is so good? Man, I just seen an article, man. This is crazy. Let me see if I can find it on Twitter. Because, yeah, man, these people, they don't care about us. Damn, I wish I would have really fucking kept that, though. God damn. Wow. Damn, I swear to God, it was a bill. Damn. When I find it, though, I will share it because that it was, to me, it was interesting as hell because they talk about our job market and how, oh, actually, you know what? No, I know how I can get it because I remember it had something to do with fucking Trump. If Trump became president again, what would another 4 years look like? And for me, it was like, damn, they try to fearmonger. And I don't even care about dude becoming president at the end of the day. Wait, nah, damn, no, I can't even find that. And then on a bitch. Because the Star Tribune literally just did something on this. I swear I seen it. All right, I had to go back to Twitter. Let me see. Trump in Minnesota. No. No, that shit crazy. I don't know. I'll find it at some point. But yeah, we definitely, I could say this, that America, we as Americans, we as people, period, are not watching what's going on at our state capitals. We're not watching what's going on in our city halls. Because if we did, we would understand that they're not. They're not. No, and what's crazy? Thanks, Robert. I appreciate. That wasn't any of them, but no, because it was. We're not paying attention, and I'm going to tell you why we're not paying attention because there's so many things that are going on. At our state capitol, at our city halls, at our school board meetings, and people aren't just. I don't know if it's that we just don't have the time, or we don't have the capacity, or we don't have the patience. But we definitely need to start paying attention to what is going on at our city halls. It's just like, people want to say that when you call out certain things, you're making people aware of what's going on. They want to call you names and it's like, you know what? I don't even care. Call me whatever you want to call me. But if it's going to make my community better for all, then fucking so be it. It's like, we got to stop being scared of what people are going to say and just do what we need to be doing because nobody's going to come in and do shit for us. Nobody is. Nobody's going to come and do shit. Nobody. Let's see what the top news is. No, it's a shooting over the weekend. See, they always want to talk about the Holocaust. They always want to talk about the Holocaust. But yeah, even this, it's crazy. What was that? No, that wasn't what I was looking for. I guess it is what it is. But we do definitely need to start paying attention. We need to start researching of who we're voting for. And it doesn't matter about the party, right? Uh, vote policy. Don't vote for a person because you think they're the lesser of two evils. No, stop doing that shit, because that's what they told us about Obama. That's what they told us about Biden. And look where we're at now. How is it that voting for the lesser of two evils gets us anywhere? Right? That's what I'll never understand when it comes to Republicans, when it comes to Democrats. And I'm not trying to burn any bridges. I'm not trying to do any of that. What I'm trying to do is to educate people, right? And I'm just like with Walter, it frustrates me the way that people, you sit out here and you say you're for the people, but then you hang out and promote people that fuck the community with no Vaseline. Then, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't go up here and say shit about Nicole Mitchell, but then yet you're hanging out with people that are no better than her. She's a crook. They're crooks. So to me, it doesn't make any sense. Right. Exactly. Exactly. If they're doing a bad job, vote them out so they know you have the power at a minimum. Right. And that's how I know that, people always say, well, we don't have the power. Yes, we do. What do you think our Constitution states? We, the people. It doesn't say, well, if the Democrats are in control, then they're the power. No, it doesn't say that about Republicans either. It says we, the people. You know who we, the people, are? Me and you. But until we realize that they don't have the power, because we are the power. That's the one thing that I laugh at people. It's for the simple fact of, they say, well, we just gotta wait till next election. No, we don't. There's things called a recall, right? We have enough for malfeasance or even feasance. But people don't understand what that is. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it bugs me to have conversations, because people always feel like we don't have options. Yes, we do. We do have options. That's one thing that I tell people too, is believe in yourself, because ain't nobody gonna fight for you like you. That's what I want people to remember, right? Fight like you want change. Don't just be out here because you think you want to feel good, because then you're not doing anything different than Black Lives Matter. You're not doing anything different than the NAACP, because it's all talk. When are we actually, because it's crazy, these people just don't talk it. They actually walk it, because we're living in it. We're living in it. We literally have bills in Minnesota that if you run into, let's say, there's a protest going on and the street is, you block the street, and some dumbass, because they feel like they're being bothered and just runs through the crowd, they're not at fault. It's the pedestrian is at fault. And that's Eric Lucero. So that's what I'm saying, of how can we get behind people that want to see us harmed, all for speaking up peacefully. And if a person, that's the one thing that always bothered me about people when I've seen them, because when I heard that bill, right, all I could think in my mind was Deanna Marie. Deanna Marie. Or I think about when the semi truck got on 35. There's a lot of shit that I think about. Or when we were downtown and when Chauvin was convicted, was found guilty. Or maybe it was his sentencing, one of the two. But you had a car come through the crowd. These are some scary ass situations. And we have kids that are out there. Like, do people not think about that? Because everybody talking about, oh, they're pro-life, but yet you'll run over some kids because they're out protesting peacefully. That's not pro-life. It sounds like you're anti-free speech. You're anti-peacefully protesting. So we got to do better. And I'm not asking you to do anything that I don't do myself. Pick up a book, read, educate yourself. And we don't have to think alike. That's not what this is about, because we all have a perspective. We all have an opinion. We all have what our world should look like. But what's crazy is this isn't about us. So we should be able to bring that ideology together and be able to collaborate collectively, unified. But because everybody want to be the top dog and nobody actually wants to be just the worker anymore, because everybody want to feel like they're the boss. So that's why we don't get anywhere. And nobody wants to be accountable. Nobody wants to be accountable, because we literally will allow pastors to touch kids. And I'm talking about Minneapolis. We let community activists rape women, violate them. We allow people to scam our community for money. So until we literally can get those bad actors, those bad people out of our communities, how are we supposed to? Y'all talk about y'all don't want no bad police. What about the bad community members? That's what I will never understand, because you can't want one thing but then not want the other. Because we should really be trying to fix ourselves before we're literally trying to fix our government, because that's why I don't fuck with none of these movements. The reparations movement in Minnesota, I think, is a joke. You literally have crackheads, niggas that have been busted on video, and the video was put out there by their ex-girlfriends, their girlfriend, significant other, and the video's put out there. And these are the type of people that we got literally running our movement, literally that are talking for us. We got Pookie from New Jack City up there talking to Governor Walz. And that's what's crazy. I can't get over that we got Pookie from New Jack City up talking for us. And that's what's crazy. But because these niggas are selected and they've had to do certain things to get there, right? Some of them had to take it up the ass. Because, yeah, the music industry, Hollywood ain't no different than what goes on here in these streets, right? Because the Republican Party, we had our own little ditty in the Republican Party. I won't say that, our own Jeffrey Epstein. Look up Anton Lazaro. Oh, fuck that, I will. Since you know what, because that's what's crazy. Let's start comparing these motherfuckers, right? Let's start comparing situations, right? So let's bring up Anton Lazaro. Let's bring up Lazaro. Let's bring up this fuck nigga Lazaro. Right? Because it was crazy is you still got motherfuckers in Minneapolis that ain't even get the money back from the donations from this fool. So, do you know? Well, let me put Minneapolis. I'll just put Minnesota. So, oh, look at that. Found guilty. Ooh, we sentenced it. Look at this. Okay, let me pull it up. Let's share this tab instead. Yeah, man. So, Anton Lazaro sentenced to 21 years in prison for child sex trafficking. Mr. Lazaro targeted, manipulated, and sexually exploited young and vulnerable girls for his own gain without regard for their age or safety. 32 years old, recruit young girls 15 to 16 in May of, this is the crazy thing, right? So everybody knows what happened in May of 2020, George Floyd. Well, this is what's sick because this motherfucker worked with Lacey Johnson over north. You know what I'm saying? And these people literally bring these type of people around us. They bring these people around us. And because they pay them or they have some cash or they have money, we allow it. That's what's crazy to me. We allow it. We allow it. And why? Why? See, oh, here go a better one. Let's go, because look at that. GOP donor. And he was more than just a donor. He was more than just a donor because he worked with Lacey. Listen, prosecutors had requested a 30-year sentence for Lazaro. They likened Lazaro to financier Jeffrey Epstein. He's a sex trafficker. This is a man that they literally had over north Minneapolis. Lacey Johnson, somebody that was in our public school systems. Right. And that's what, thank you, Robert. Thank you. That's exactly what the elephant in the motherfucking room. That's why I take all of these people not even serious. I don't take them serious because it's literally, you have people like David Hahn, or whatever the fuck his name is, right? And it's crazy as I said, I sit there and I think about the woman that they had running in Congressional District 5 over north, right? That was Cicely Davis. There was so many rumors about her that she was a former prostitute, that she was, and then when Lazaro shit came out and how much work he did over north and how much he did with the Republicans and how much money he had, and I was like, oh wow, like I start to see that everybody got a price. Everybody has a price, and that's what's sick. That's what's sick. It's sick. It's sick because I'll tell you right now that some of these right. All right. That's what's crazy is Minnesota is a cesspool for this shit. A cesspool of it. A cesspool. We literally and it's not just Minneapolis, Rochester, Minnesota. They protected a Olmsted County sheriff for years while he was out here perpetrating and penetrating our kids. So I don't want to hear this shit about any of these people that they're gonna make a difference. No, Amy Klobuchar. Amy, this is my thing of it is, right? Any of these people that we can bring up, Keith Ellison, before I really take you serious, my nigga, why don't you go free Timothy Magruder? Why don't you go do that first? And anybody that is out here talking about Keith Ellison, fuck you, free Timothy Magruder. That nigga, that's what I'm talking about. We don't even stand up for our community. We stand up more for these politicians. And this is crazy, right? Because the next time I see you, Keith, and I know you get told when I talk about you, right? I seen you when I just not even that long ago. You was on the steps of Minneapolis City Hall doing some type of press conference. When I was doing my pre-sentence investigation. So it wasn't even that long ago. It was April 30th. So, this shit's insane, man. This shit is insane. This shit is insane, man. And then I think about Terrence Franklin, or I think about Jamar Clark. I think about so many other names. I think about childhood friends that I lost in Minneapolis. And then I see the people that so-called change reform people, they ain't. And you know how hard that slap in the face that is for niggas that actually came from Minneapolis, and we see the people that were out causing mayhem. They're out causing mayhem. That were out causing mayhem in our communities. And now they're so-called violence interrupters. Because y'all don't really want to have a real conversation. Because all that Black Lives Matter shit, why ain't nobody asking Lisa Clemens about the nigga she killed when she was a police officer? I bet y'all ain't talking to her about that. Huh? Or how she was, this is the crazy part. What I don't understand is how you gonna fight for the community, right? But when you was a police officer, that's why I don't never trust these ex-police officers or former police officers. Because if these niggas couldn't hack it being police officers, who? Lee Edwards? But it's crazy to me. It's like these people literally, you had Lisa Clemens that was tipping off the vice lords when they were getting raided over north. It's, you know what's crazy, Mike? They haven't jumped on a new hype train. Is all they did is they're trying to co-opt it. They're trying to take it over. It's the same thing that happened in 2020, and we allowed it to happen because I've had to go back, right? I've literally had to go back in 2020 because to me, I didn't realize what was going on in the world until May 25th. And I seen the video on 38th in Chicago, right? But now as I look back and I see Breonna Taylor, you had people coming out. So, but you guys got to go back and look. I'm telling you right now, if people go back and look at 2020, you look in the beginning of the year, you go through Ahmaud Arbery, you go through Breonna Taylor, you look at the certain shit that was happening, and then you look at 2024, you compare it to the months, and then you look at where we're at right now, May 8th, May 9th. I want people to think about this shit. Think about it. It's about to happen. It is about to happen. You literally have them doing the same things they were doing in 2020 out in the streets now at college campuses all over America. They were at the Met Gala just this last week. They were at the other event. Maybe it was the Met Gala, but I think there was another event in New York that there was not Al Sharpton. It was Al Sharpton was there. Because I'll tell you right now, if money was actually going to solve our issues, they've already been solved. Right or wrong. If money was going to solve our issues, they would already be. Because I'll tell you right now, one thing that I realized is the same thing that we say out in these streets, more money, more problems. Right? Same thing with our education system. Same thing with our police department. You give them more money, what do we have? More problems. More problems. You know, I sit there and since 20, I'll tell you right now, since 2020, we've been through some shit. We've been through some motherfucking shit. I'll tell you right now, you know, I was just telling my daughter, You know, she graduated high school in 2020, and you know, graduating, well, would be graduating if she would have, you know, stayed in college or whatever, as a senior, because her friends are graduating, whatever. And I'm thinking like, damn. So they were literally had to go through all of this shit with COVID, and then are going through all of this with these protests on college campuses. And I get it. I understand it. I'm not disagreeing with these kids. That's one thing that I stand in solidarity with them, you know, because I definitely don't like the way that the police again are treating. That's not what you guys are fucking paid for. That's not. And the only reason why these things even get out of hand is because of the police. It's not because of the peaceful protesters. Yeah, they might leave garbage. Right? They probably smoke too much weed, probably drink a little bit too much. But these are college kids. These are kids, college young adults. Right? And there is people co-opting and taking over these situations, and then it turns violent. Right? But riot, what do they say is the language of the unheard? A riot. And people are feel like they're being unheard. So how isn't a riot about to not happen? Because now you're not only, here's the crazy thing of it is, these from 2020 to 2024, you had college or high school seniors who are now college seniors, right? So they seen what happened to George Floyd. They seen the movement about defund the police, right? And they seen that didn't really go well. And now, but that defund the police movement, that money that they were getting, now we're getting cop cities, right? We're getting cop cities goddamn near everywhere. And they're saying because of the simple fact that crime is out of hand, right? They're understaffed. But why is that? Why is that? Because crime is rampant. And what's crazy is, you know, people always want to talk shit about North Minneapolis. They always want to talk shit about North Minneapolis, right? But let's talk about where the real crime goes on at. Yes, there's shootings and some killings over north, but there's the same thing that goes on over south. You know what misses from North Minneapolis to South Minneapolis? We don't have the property crime. We don't have the business break-ins. Not like they do over south, because we don't have them luxuries. We don't have these uppity ass coffee shops. We don't have these restaurants on every corner. We don't have Uptown, Dinkytown, North Loop. Even though they want to say that's in North Minneapolis, it's not. We got Pappy's, which I love Pappy's. We got Little Caesars, Sammy's. There's so many other little restaurants. But it's not, we don't have no luxury ass shit. We have a Cub Foods. All these is gone. Easier for me to get a gun over north in certain parts than it is to get fresh vegetables from the corner store. Think about that for a minute. That's how you even understand that they don't give a fuck. A fuck. Why is it that some of the biggest democratic cities in America have the biggest homicide rates? And don't say because it's populated. A lot of it is because of failed democratic policies. You have people that migrate to get, and that's the one crazy part of it is, it's all right, because I'm just going to, I see it happening. I think people are starting to call it out. You know, some people feel like it's too late. It's not too late. The fat lady hasn't sung yet. The fat lady hasn't sung yet. You know, so just like with Rochester, there's a whole plan to build another part of Mayo for a hospital. And People don't understand that. They, you know, and then when I say that, you know, you have Rochester City Council and Mayo Clinic is trying to gentrify Rochester. Oh, no, they're not. And then I can even lay it out. I lay it out. You know what I'm saying? I lay it out to them. And still, yet people don't see that. When you're literally trying to replace a population of poor people to, let's say, homeowners or affluent people of, let's say, so you get rid of Section 8 to get in young nurses or business executives, right? Come on, man. We all see what it is, but I get called being bogus for calling that type of shit out. That it's just like now, you know, not even now, but there's a plan in place for 2nd Street in Rochester, right? And there's these apartments. But then when you look at the plans for these apartments and what they plan to price them at because of fair market rate, right? Area and medium income. It's like anywhere between, for a 1-bedroom, $1,500 to $1,900 a month. That's not affordable housing. That's not affordable. It's not. That's not affordable housing, and everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks that, you know, when you hear the word affordable, that it just fits everybody. That's not the case. That's not the case at all. It doesn't fit everybody, because what's affordable for some might not be affordable for everybody. And we need to think about everybody. You know, some people aren't in the same situations. There's people that rely on Social Security and they don't get a lot of Social Security. Oh, he found it. Oh, thank you, Robert. Thank you. He found it. Now, why is it? Oh, here it goes. It was a Star Trip. I was right. Now, I hope this shit comes up where I can see it. Oh, yeah. Nope. Damn it. Oh, maybe it did. Maybe it will. Oh, okay. Yes. All right. So, this is what I wanted. Thank you so much, Robert. I really appreciate that. So, now I'm not putting this out there to scare people. I'm just putting it out for information. A promised immigration crackdown if Trump wins could cripple Minnesota's workforce. If former President Donald Trump earns a 2nd term in November, a promised crackdown on both documented and undocumented immigration would likely hit an even tighter job market and send shockwaves through the state's economy. Immigration policies under former President Donald Trump slashed the number of people entering Minnesota from other countries as the state was grappling with a workforce shortage due in part to an aging population. If Trump wins his 1-term delayed re-election in November, a promised crackdown on both undocumented and documented immigration, including bearing refugees, carrying out mass deportations, and limiting birthright citizenship, would likely hit an even tighter job market and send shockwaves through the state's economy. Minnesota's unemployment rate is lower than the U.S. as a whole, and employers are struggling to fill nearly 200,000 open jobs, according to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Minnesota's labor shortage is among the country's most severe, with just 51 workers for every 100 open jobs. See, the crazy part of it is they never want to tell you that part of it, right? Because we always hear that our job employment market is alive, right? But and honestly, it's not. And if they don't fill it with immigrants, why do you think the plan is to move for them to go into Gaza, right? And I want people to realize what is happening. because Biden didn't have a plan to resettle Palestinians from Gaza over to America and give them amnesty or whatever that shit is. But to give them like asylum, right? But that's not what Israel wants. Israel literally wants to get rid of these people. Netanya, whatever the fuck his name is, wants to literally get. That's why we call it a genocide. And what is a ceasefire going to do? Because they did that before. So I agree with some people. We're not even listening to what those people want over there, and we're just doing what's best, what we feel like is for us, because we want to feel good. So people don't understand sometimes that there is no other option for growing the workforce other than international immigration or a change in domestic immigration patterns, which for 20 years have not worked in the favor of Minnesota. We'd have to see really a very drastic change, both in domestic migration patterns, but also in the level of international immigration to even begin to scratch the surface of meeting the current labor force needs that we have. Minnesota is home to almost about 480,000 foreign-born residents, comprising about 8.5% of the population. According to the State Department of Employment and Economic Development, DEED, those residents tend to be younger than Minnesota's native-born population, and most are in their prime working years, filling jobs from agriculture to education to healthcare. Between 2011 and 2021, immigrants comprised half the state's labor force growth, though they made up less than 11% of the workforce. Damn, that's crazy. A Trump campaign spokesman did not respond to a request for comment. In the interview with the New York Times, Trump advisors recently described plans for wide-reaching immigration restrictions, many of which would target people living and working in the U.S. legally. So my thing of it is, if we're literally, our job market is fine, and then you see what they're doing at the state, at the federal level with our census, with to make it our electoral college, and if you don't understand politics, right? So I don't think people fully understand that until we really start watching what's going on around us. With the Equal Rights Amendment, they're trying to add to our Constitution, but they can't take slavery off our Constitution. That's what made me realize, like, these people really don't give a fuck about us. They don't give a fuck about the Marvin Haynes. They don't give a fuck about the Timothy Magruders. They don't care about the Cornelius Jacksons or all the other innocent and people that can prove that they're innocent and been wrongfully convicted individuals. Then let's have a conversation. But until then, I need y'all to just shut the fuck up and sit in my VTOL voice. Shut the fuck up and sit down. Like, so I'll just tell you like this, because we're not stopping. I'm not, and like I said yesterday, man, we all bleed the same. And if you feel like by me exposing and calling out what you're doing and you want to hurt me, that's on you, brother. But just know that I'm about self-protection. And I'm going to protect myself by any means necessary, because I've already let y'all do too much. I've let y'all firebomb me. I shouldn't say I let y'all, but y'all have tried to firebomb me. Nah, didn't try, y'all did. I've had a gun put on my face. So I will say this, is that so if you're not coming, I'm gonna tell you right now, watch how you come. So I honestly gotta say, because I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of you funny ass niggas I don't trust. And I look at y'all really fucking weird. There's a lot of these niggas I look at weird, because stop saying you're for the community and that you love the community, but yet you fuck with niggas that fuck over the community. That doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. And we have too many people that are like that. We have way too many people that are like that. You know, so I want people to understand that while they're calling out Nicole Mitchell, there's plenty of other Republicans you could be calling out. Because how many people got serviced by some of them girls by Lazaro? That's what I don't understand. Fuck all this other shit, right? I don't want Epstein's list. Give me Lazaro's list. Who was Lazaro getting clients for? Who was Lazaro getting girls for? That's what I want to know. Were some of these girls at parties? Because what's crazy, there's another lady that she was like a madame or something. The bitch changed her name and everything. She was like Stillwater. This old white lady. Like, I was just like, this shit crazy. Because I remember going to the Somalian Republican dinner, and they were like, damn, that lady, I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then you looked it up, and yeah, the broad literally, they literally, shit was wild, man. Shit was wild. Damn. Oh yeah, damn. This shit been going on for years, man. And what's crazy is people don't even. There's a lot of people that honestly do care, but they're not listened to, and that's really, 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 really sad, man. Is that we don't even have people that they say that they care about us, but at the end of the day, motherfuckers won't even bust a grape in a food fight, bro. That's what's sick to me. That's what's sick as hell to me. And I'm only going to send this to you, Robert. You probably already know about this, but I'm only going to send it to you so I can bring it up on screen. And I'm going to get off live after this. I want to show y'all something because we talked about an individual yesterday. But I wanted to show a little bit more about him. All right. So this is court of. Oh, damn! What? I didn't even see that. Oh. Director stating that he intended to resign. He then started a new full-time job, different community partnership. TO contract. It's been working. Executive director. High Towers email. Now, I have to read this further because I'm not sure exactly what this is about, but I will definitely dig into that one deeper about Clarence Hightower. But I hope everybody has a great Thursday. Please just research a little bit, man. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, they say that anti-Semitism is up. But we have to understand what Semitic is. And I think if people understood what anti-Semitic really meant, we wouldn't be having these problems. We got to understand what they mean. Because it's changed over time, and people really don't even understand that, how languages change, how the words change, the meanings change. So I want to just right here towards a demonstration against Jews, right? Examples. "1854" was the first word to actually be used. But I want to show the meaning of what. Oh, this motherfucker would freeze. So once. Yeah. All right. So this is what always was crazy to me, because you see the definition, right? That's what Semitic is. So anti means you're against it. So then you just put anti-Semitic, right? Relating or constituting a subfamily of the Afro-Asiatic language family that includes Hebrew, Arabic, and I don't know that other word. I just always trip me out of how did they really get to this is just about Jewish people, because Semitic has nothing to do with Jews. It's about a region of people. So, but I guess, hey, you fall for the shit, you fall for the shit. Ain't that what it's all about? It's falling for the shit. Ain't that what we're good for? Is believing the narratives, believing the lies. Shit, I mean, I ask people all the time of who found America, who discovered America, and the fact that people still to this day say Christopher Columbus. Like, wake up, smell the coffee a little bit. So, want everybody to have a great rest of your Thursday. Win or fail, freedom or jail, heaven or hell. Wish me well. Y'all have a great one.
Urban conservative.